What's going on, everybody? It's Big T with GreenWallSt.com, back with another trading video. This time we're going to be looking at the chart on the left. So last video we looked at SIGA. Today we're going to be looking at HUSA. Just ended up, getting two trades nearly at the same time. But HUSA I feel like was the more interesting one because it wasn't just so clear and perfect. SIGA, it popped, I shorted it, and it just fell. Those are great, but you don't learn, a ton from trades that just work flawlessly. They're nice to have, but it's the ones where you got to battle a little bit that you really learn about yourself and your trading. So idea was, the stock popped up and pre-market started selling off. So it was overextended to the upside and then started selling off. So if we popped back into some of that pre-market resistance at the open, I wanted to take a short. And that's essentially what I did. So I had mapped out kind of the 510 to 530-ish range to start scaling in short. I figure anybody shorting pre-market, that's probably around the area that they get exhausted out, and that's where I want to start entering the position. So we hit 510 and I start in part of the position. Now I'm not fully in yet. This is not like the do or die moment for the stock where I can just size in aggressively right away. It's just not it's not one of those trades. So again, 510 to 530 is just kind of that range. And once it gets to that range, that's when I really start to pay attention and try to get some decent entries. So I'm staying patient here. My stop, if we were to just shoot through all this resistance here without pulling back or consolidating at all, I was going to stop at probably 540. Maybe if I have a little slippage, a 550 area. But we start to run into a little trouble. So I add to the position, raise my average a little bit. I've got about half size here, which looking back was probably a little bit too fast. But a lot of times stocks will get right to this spot, and that'll be the entire move. I saw the volume come in, so I don't hate adding here, but it just so happened that we start to pull back a little bit, and then we take an additional leg higher that I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting it to make. Like I said, that 510 to 530 range was the area I wanted, but it just took me by surprise a little bit. But anyway, we got there. I start to add a little bit more, and because we end up pushing through 530 here, I think maybe even hitting, it looks like we hit about 536. So I'm just about stopped out of this trade already. But we start to pull back, and what happens is, because the stock just felt stronger than what I thought it would be, and I didn't love my average here. So my average is about 515-ish, and the stock's sitting at 530. And, I'm already more than half size. So I already felt a little out of position here. I don't like feeling that way, where I have more size than I want, and the stock is not really confirming what I want it to do yet. So my idea might still be right overall, but if the timing's wrong, then, it's not going to work out. So anytime I feel like that, it's normally best to, you don't have to stop out of the trade entirely. You might, but there's no reason, if it's not doing what you want it to do, to sit in more size than you are comfortable with. You can always jump right back in, right? But if you stop out, it just allows you to trade it with a clearer mind. So I end up sizing down out of this position as we fall. Like I said, I had about a 515 average. So it's right back to my average. And I thought, you know what? I can go ahead and cover here and reposition into the stock with a better average and just be more comfortable, right? So I use that pullback to my advantage to cover, and that cover is really what allowed me to sit here and continue to watch the stock and nail it when it was actually time. So you can see we go ahead and we squeeze all the way past pre-market highs. Stock is, clearly higher than I thought it would be. And at this point, once we break those pre-market highs, now I'm patient. Like, let's see how high it goes. Let's let it squeeze. Let's let it do its thing. And once it starts to top, once it, starts to sell off, starts to lose support, starts you know, trapping buyers instead of shorts, that's when I'll look to trade it again. So not interested in that pullback to 530, but then it starts to fail even more. I think I let it pull all the way back to, I want to say 510 almost. Yeah, so stock is all the way back to VWAP now. Still not shorting it, right? I'm staying patient. I let it lose VWAP, and only at that point am I now interested, because now I have a place to risk off of again. So, you know, the first time we pop, I've got a place to risk. The next trade, you know, if I was to short it at 560, I really don't have a great place to risk off of because the stock's at high of day. Now that we've sold off from 5.6 down to 5.10, 5.15, well, now if we bounce back into 5.30, 5.40, I can short it and stop out if it, you know, goes over the highs. It just, it allows me to comfortably size into the trade instead of guess what the top may be. So again, not in my full position yet. I'm kind of, you know, watching it and letting it get to that zone. I figured 525 to 545 was kind of where I wanted to trade it. And we pop up 525, I put on a partial. I get the actual pop that I'm looking for, so I add more size up here in the 530s. And then it starts to fail, and I end up full size in the trade with a 527 average as we start to roll over. And this is really the key moment in the stock where, you know, if I'm right, we're just going to lose VWAP here. It's going to sell off, put in a lower high, and you know, stock's going to fade off to 5 or 510, and I'm going to cover. And if I'm wrong, you know, I can stop out. If we start to just hold VWAP on these pullbacks and it's not doing what I want it to do, again, I can stop out for a relatively small loss. But, you know, on this second go around, we end up trying to bounce. Stock gets stuffed, and then at that point, when people realize that the bounce is not likely, you know, everybody typically has their stops all in the same spot, and we get that sell-off that I was initially looking for. But yeah, I figured this was and then I think I covered all. It's like I stayed decently patient, so I covered some near 510, and then I'm not sure if I get. I'm trying to make my triangles bigger. Yeah, I end up covering the rest here. Yeah, right about 510. So wasn't really the major trade and flush that I was looking for, but you know, it ended up being a decent trade nonetheless. I think that was about that wasn't $900, was it? No, that was about 500. That was about $500. So, and that's counting the loss from back here. So, you know, I thought that would be an interesting trade to look at, just because, again, sometimes you might have an idea for a stock, but it's not going to work on your timeline. It's not going to work exactly how you want it to, and you have to react to what's going on in order to profit from some of these trades. You know, if it gets to an area that interests you and you put a trade on and it feels like it's too early, it feels like it's not right, just take it off. You can always put it right back on. But when you do that, you really save yourself a lot of headaches. And, you know, there were probably a lot of people that shorted where I did, but they held, right? They ignored some of these warning signs. They're the ones stopping out into 550, 560. And then once they stop out, the stock is allowed to fade because, you know, the shorts are out. So just got to pay attention to some of those subtle warning signs. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. GreenWallSt.com. Definitely come check it out. Link will be in the description below. If you'd like to join the Discord and the community and come trade these stocks live with us each day, we would love to have you. And if not, you just want to watch the videos, that's fine too. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and I will catch you right back here next time. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, just refresh it and give it one more chance. And as always, guys, I don't really have